Hello, welcome everyone. I am so excited that you are here with me today, and welcome to another episode of Unpack This. Yes, I'm your host, Gloria Bailey Gray, also known as the Authentic Coach, and this is the space where we unpack the things many people feel but rarely say out loud. Now, today's conversation is one that sits deep in the bones of many women, especially women who were raised to survive, women who were taught to endure, who were taught to carry. Today, we're going to unpack the cost of being the strong woman. That's right, the cost of being the strong woman. You know what? Because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that being strong was not a choice, it was an expectation. And if you're listening today, I want you to ask yourself something honestly. When did being strong stop being empowering and start becoming exhausting? That's a question to ask yourself. And just let that sit with you for just a moment. Pause there for just a moment. And I say this because that question alone has made many women cry in private. The story that many of us as women have come to know is that growing up, what did we hear? We grew up hearing the same words over and over again. Be strong. Don't cry. Don't complain. Handle it. Figure it out. Keep moving. And sometimes it sounded like encouragement, and sometimes it sounded like survival, or I would say sounded like pressure. You know, here's what I've come to learn is that when people call you the strong one, they slowly stop checking to see whether you're okay. Now let that sink in for a moment. And by the way, if you are tuned in live, hey, put in the comment section, let me know where you are tuned in from. And I want you to know I appreciate you guys being here. But listen, when you're the strong one, people assume that you don't break. They assume you don't need help. Honestly, they assume that you can carry everything. But strength without support is not strength. I call it silent suffering. And many women have been silently suffering for decades. Yes, yes. Let me tell you a little story about me growing up. Allow me to share this personal with you. See, growing up, I was one of those girls who was told to be strong. Now, understand this. That message often came from love, and families say it because life has been hard. And trust me, growing up in the South, it was hard. And they tell you that because they want you to survive, because they want you to push through. And guess what? In many ways, I did. I became the responsible one, the capable one, the one who handled things, the one who figured things out, the one people depended on. And over time, something subtle started to happen. Like strength became my identity, not just something I did, but something I was expected to be. And not some of the time, but all of the time. And when strength becomes your identity, you stop giving yourself permission to be human. You stop saying when you're tired. You stop saying when you're hurting. You stop saying when something is too much. Why? Because strong women aren't supposed to say that, right? Hmm. Well, let's just say this, or at least that's what we were taught. We're not supposed to say that, but that's what we were taught. But let me share with you some hidden expectations, because here's the truth many strong women eventually discover. Being strong often means being over relied upon. Can you relate to this? People bring you their problems, their crises, their emotions, their expectations. And because you've always handled things, they assumed you always will. But there is a quiet danger in that role, ladies. See, the strong woman becomes the emotional backbone of everyone else's life. While we currently and we carry our own weight, right? And the interesting thing is, oftentimes nobody even notices how heavy it has become. And I want to liken this to, I remember hearing this analogy. Sometimes we're like garbage trucks. People bring all their garbage, all their stuff, all their cares, their worries, their issues, their problems, whatever it is, and they dump it on us, and then they go on about their business. But let me ask you this: have you ever noticed that the strong woman is rarely asked, who takes care of you? In my opinion, that question alone is revolutionary, because for many strong women, the honest answer is no one. Be for real, y'all. Be authentic, right? And let me just share with you what happens when strength becomes a health issue. Yeah, I want to talk about that. That's something that doesn't get discussed enough. The physical cost of always being strong. Let me just tell you what happens. Your body, and I'm speaking from experience, keeps the score. Do you hear that? Your body keeps the score. Stress, responsibility, emotional labor, unspoken pain, holding everything together. And the crazy thing is, it shows up in ways that we all often ignore, like chronic fatigue, high blood pressure, inflammation, back pain, anxiety, sleep issues. And sometimes there are other serious medical conditions, right? So the body itself is often the first place where unprocessed stress begins to speak. But strong women, let me tell you, we are very good at doing one thing: ignoring those signals, ignoring our own body's signals. We push through, we work through pain. We show up even when our bodies are screaming for rest. Why? Because guess what? We've been trained to believe that stopping means weakness. Not completing something, oh, it's a failure. But let me tell you, here's the truth. Ignoring your body, it is not strength. Let's just call it what it is. It's survival mode. And survival mode was never meant to be permanent, right? So if we just take a moment to look at the emotional cost of being a strong woman, because strength can become a kind of armor. And what does armor do? Armor protects you, but armor also isolates you. And so strong women, they often struggle to receive. And what I mean, receive what? To receive help, to receive care, to receive support, because we've been conditioned to give, to lead, to handle, right? To fix, to solve. And sometimes we become so good at carrying everything that we forget how to just set things down, right? And as you can tell, that this is sitting really deeply with me, is because some of these tables you guys are at, the things you're doing, you got to get up from. Let me just tell you, emotional strength, it's not measured by how much pain you can endure. Real strength includes being vulnerable. It includes setting boundaries. Real strength includes saying, I can't carry this right now. And guess what? It doesn't make you weak. Who told you that? What it does do is it makes you self-aware, right? For many strong women, what happens, and I know what happened with me, you eventually experience this moment in time, a moment when the weight becomes undeniable. Sometimes it comes through burnout. I've been seeing a lot of that, those posts on social media, burnout. Sometimes it comes through illness. Sometimes it comes through a relationship that drains everything from you. And then sometimes it just comes through this quiet realization. That was my moment. I've been strong for everyone else, but I haven't been caring for myself. Now, let me assure you, that moment can be painful, no question, but it can also be liberating. That's right, because it becomes the moment when you as a woman begin to ask a different question. Not how much more can I carry? The question is instead, what do I need to release? Hey, pause there. Give me a thumbs up, hand clap, let me know, But I just want to share something with you. Let me say this. And to me, it's important. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a strong woman. Strength is powerful. Strength builds communities. Strength raises families. Strength leads movements. But strength should not come at the cost of your well-being. Strength should not come at the cost of your well-being. Why do I say that? Because healthy strength should include rest. You guys know what that word is. Some of you haven't done it in so long, you don't even know what it feels like or looks like. But that includes setting boundaries. And it's amazing how many of us know that we need to set boundaries and we're still uncomfortable with doing that. Why? Because you're worrying about what they're going to say? I don't know anybody that I set a boundary with that has paid a damn bill for me. Not one. I don't know anybody that I set a boundary with that has given me a freaking job. Not one. I don't know anyone that I set boundaries with that actually took the time out to call, to come by, to drop in. Guess what? Boundary setting is critical. And guess what? When we think about it, healthy strength actually comes from having good support systems. See, self-care that goes deeper than surface level, right? Yeah, they may call say, "Hey girl, how you doing?" But until there's an issue, you don't hear from them. They're not calling you because they haven't heard from you or seen you or know what's going on, right? But here's the thing. You just got to have the courage to stop performing strength when what you really and truly need is healing. True strength is balanced. It allows you to lead and to lean. Y'all get that? To lead and to lean. To support others and to be supportive, you guys. To be capable and still be cared for. Whew, it's heavy. Listen, in my own journey, I had to start redefining strength. What did it look like for me? Right? Because I got every freaking call, pray for me, help me, would you let me, show me how to do this? I had it all. Yeah. And I just had to stop and take a long look at myself. And I had to start asking myself questions like, where am I overextending? Where am I saying yes when I need to say no? Where am I carrying things that were never mine to carry? And y'all know what I'm talking about, whether it's your kids, your relationships, your colleagues, your job. You know what? Stop and ask yourself those questions. Were any of these things, any of these issues, were they yours to carry? And I just want to tell you, and slowly when I started doing that, I personally began to understand something powerful. And what it was is that strength is not about enduring everything. Not at all. Not at all. Strength is about choosing who or what deserves your energy. You guys get that? Choosing what or whom deserves your energy. And when you look at it like that, that shift changes everything because suddenly you're not providing your strength anymore. What you are doing is you are protecting your peace. Does any of this resonate with you ladies? Do you, as we would say back home, do you smell what I'm cooking? This cost of being a strong woman, ladies, it's time for us to step into who we really and truly are, to be who we are. Um, Before we close this episode, I want to invite you into a moment of reflection. If you're the woman everyone calls strong, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself these questions honestly. Number one, what was the last time someone checked on you emotionally? Not just the superficial, but emotionally, right? Number two, where in your life are you carrying more than you should? And that's a big one. And that's why, ladies, get your journals. Write it down. Write it down. Right? Reflection. Number three, what responsibilities have I accepted that were never mine to begin with? And that's a big one, because surface wise, it may all start out and look innocent, but before you know it, you find yourself, you're doing far more than what the description of what you signed up for was, right? And I know that at times for me, I found myself becoming resentful, but I had to look inwardly and ask, why am I resentful? I'm resentful because guess what? People saw me as the strong woman. Oh, she can handle it. She can do it. It's no big deal. And guess what? I adapted. I allowed that mindset. And many of you have also. In fact, I have reached a point where I got so tired of hearing people say, I don't have the bandwidth. I can't take on anything more. And I got to thinking, well, hell, I need to be able to also adapt and say, I don't have the capacity. I don't have the bandwidth. I can't do it. And I want to just be really, really transparent with you guys. When you do that, the thing is, whatever needs to be done, it gets shifted anyway. But that's a ploy people use so that whether it's laziness, whether they're not committed, they're not invested, whatever it is, but it is not yours to take on because they're not. Because the truth be told, for some of you women out there that have been downsized and lost your jobs, and I hear you talk about all the gazillion things that you did that wasn't even in your job description, guess what? They were actually able to break up all of those responsibilities and give it to other people who took them on, right? And so you when you stop and look at, were these your responsibilities or did you agree to take them on, right? Because you're a strong woman, right? I am telling you, there is nothing more liberating. And perhaps the most important question you need to be asking yourself is, what would happen if I allowed myself to rest without guilt? I'm not going to tell you it's going to happen overnight because I am in that mode right now. But what I'm learning, my shift is just saying, I'm not going to do it and sit my butt down somewhere, right? So what would happen? Just imagine what would happen if you allowed yourself to rest without the guilt behind it, right? And I want to tell you this because the truth is simple. It's this. Many strong women were never taught how to receive support. We were only taught how to give it, right? But a healthy life, it actually requires both giving and receiving. So if you've been labeled the strong woman, I want to say something to you today. As the authentic coach, You are allowed to rest. That's right. You are allowed to rest. Plain and simple. That's the reality. You are allowed to ask for help. Now, some of y'all saying, oh, I can't do that. Stop worrying about what somebody else is going to think or say if you're asking for help. Get over it. You are allowed to say, this is too much. And when you start doing this, by the way, let me just tell you this. What you're going to notice is those those leeches that hang on to you, they're going to start to fall off because guess what? You're saying no more. I'm not going to do this. I'm not capable of doing this. Or you may be capable of it, but you say, I don't want to do it, right? And I want to tell you, you are allowed to build a life where strength and softness can coexist. Why? I'm going to tell you because the strongest women I know, are the ones who finally learned that strength includes self-compassion, not just endurance. I hear a lot of my more mature clients talk about the millenniums and the Gen Zs, and they talk a lot about, they don't want to work. They don't. No, guess what? They learned early on that is a full sentence. They learned early on that I'm not going to take that on. And I applaud them. Because guess what? It's about self-care. It's about reclaiming who they are. And they know that they're strong, but they're like, I don't need to prove it to anybody by taking on all of this, right? So today, I want to invite you to reflect on that one question. And here's the question. It's ready for what would your life look like if you stopped trying to prove your strength? What would your life look like if you stopped trying to prove your strength, but instead starting protecting your well-being? Think about that. Let it sit with you. Don't fight it. Don't question it. I'm just asking you to think about it. You know that we're in season 1 of this woman's series. And therefore, we're going to continue unpacking all of these things together. Please remember this. Being a strong woman should never mean being a lonely woman. True strength includes rest, support, and the courage to say, I deserve care too. Right? I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Unpack This. I'm Gloria Bailey Ray, the Authentic Coach, reminding you that authenticity isn't weakness, it's power. If this particular episode resonated with you, I ask that you download it, share it, tell others about it. And until next time, I want you to take care of yourself, right? Just remember that it's important. You are important. I am the Authentic Coach, And I want to thank you all so much for being here with me. Until next time, peace, love, and happiness.